In 2020, after 30 years of research, the Archaeodoxa team made an astonishing discovery. Ancient myths reveal a matrix in the stars that helps to trace the celestial geometry of the ecliptic and the Milky Way. We named this matrix Astro Mitra, the starry matrix in Greek. The Archaeodoxa team believes that all the primeval cultures of the 6 continents knew this heavenly structure. Our ancestors used the Astro Mitra to survive and harmonize their community's social-moral life. High-magnitude stars with prominent constellations stage the geometry of the Astro Mitra. On the left, you see a rectangular map of our sky dome with the Astro Mitra lines. We were baffled to find that these angular distances can be expressed as integer fractions of 90 degrees or 360 degrees. These arc angles have specific trigonometric values, making it easy to find the ecliptic line and the 2 ecliptic poles. For our ancestors, the Astro Mitra makes it easy the tracking of the planets along the ecliptic, and for their survival, the tracking of the sun and the moon. In a previous video on this channel, we explained how we can easily survey the sky and the Astro Mitra using our hands. The Astro Mitra fits remarkably well with the ecliptic grid and the geometric setting of the Milky Way, the galactic grid. The Astro Mitra brings us to the question of teleology. Is there a purpose behind our universe? A purpose given by a creator? Why do these great magnitude stars end up organized according to the ecliptic mechanic view from Earth? These stars are so distant from each other. Modern cosmology wouldn't explain a structured design to serve observers on Earth. Astronomers are already baffled by the coincidental adjustment of the moon and the sun's apparent size in our sky. This setting allows spectacular eclipses with their solar crowns. We already call probability mathematicians to check the non-randomness of the Astro Mitra. Such a design is far more astonishing than the moon-sun hyper-precise adjustment. We will see how the Astro Mitra solves a long-standing mystery. Mythologists recognize that the myths worldwide come from a single source in the Paleolithic deep time. And all these experts acknowledge that the myths are linked to astronomy. The challenge is that different cultures have different star lores. Also, astronomical interests differ between hunter-gatherers, farmers, nomadic pastoralists, and Oceanians. The Astro Mitra makes it possible to unlock the common logic behind very distant myths. Minimal units of a myth are named my team, such as suspended by a rope, going down a well, dancing around a tree or a pole, spinning an axle to light a fire, grinding grains with a mill, spinning a wool yarn, churning milk. At first glance, rotative my team seems to express the 24-hour day-night rotation of our sky, an easily predictable cycle. However, the celestial mechanic is far more complex. How can we make sense of this geometrical motion and its time dimension? Humanity has to take up many challenges: the day-night cycle, the solar year and its seasonal cycle, moon phases, planet cycles, the precession of the equinox, and the Earth tilt variation. To measure these cycles, you need landmarks in the stars. For that purpose, astronomers drew three main grids in the sky. Here in blue, the equatorial grid conforms to the 24-hour rotations. Now in orange, you see the ecliptic grid conform to the Earth's orbit in our solar system. And here in green, the galactic grid conforms to the Milky Way circle. We will see my themes related to each grids. These 360-degree grids are not just a human inventions. The fundamental nature of mathematics inspires such geometry. Thanks to the 365-day year cycles that inspired all ancient civilization to use the trigonometry of 360. Surprisingly, bright stars' positions parallel the ecliptic and the galactic grid according to 360-degree mathematics. So, Astro Mitra's mathematics is a science beyond the gravity law that holds these stars together. We are teeny inside our galaxy. The Milky Way is our galaxy seen on its edge. The galactic plane is tilted 60 degrees from the solar system's plane, the ecliptic. We add the galactic grid and its poles upon the starry dome. A sacred tree often symbolizes this pole. The pole of the ecliptic grid is also symbolized by a tree. Some ancient myths describe the two poles as a single tree, like the Sumerian Hulupu tree. As strange as it looks, such my team is extremely clever and a compiling mnemonic device. To understand the Astro Mitra mathematics, let's see our sky in the equal area projection. The equivalent of our globe is the Lambert azimuthal equal area projection. You may ask why ancient myths record the position of the galactic pole in the middle of the Milky Way circle. Moreover, to find this pole, you need a lot of sky surveys on an armillary sphere. Then you find this pole by tracing converging meridians like a galactic grid. For our survival, the ecliptic line and the zodiac are enough. In that respect, the ecliptic and galactic poles are simply useless. When we know the Astro Mitra, we easily find these two poles. This task must be easy for humankind because of its teaching behind. There are 60 degrees between these two poles. By complement of 90 degrees, the galactic pole is at 30 degrees from the ecliptic plane. On the left, the ecliptic grid appears in orange with the concerned constellations. The ecliptic and the galactic pole trace a line that splits the two grids at 90 degrees from their lateral intersection. Viewing our sky on Earth, important stars are linked by angular distance, indicating all these spherical angles. This coincidence is mind-blowing. The antique writing of Hyginus, the Astronomica, gives a dramatic story of Icarius murdered as a scapegoat. His body is found buried under a tree by his dog, the star Procyon. Some versions say Sirius. Desperate, his daughter Erigon hangs herself on that same tree. Erigon's neck is exactly on the galactic meridian joining the North Galactic Pole to the ecliptic North Pole. The narration attracts our attention to an astonishing structure without giving any angular distance in the sky. The values of angular distance like 30, 60, and 45 degrees are the foundation of the science of trigonometry. In the Gilgamesh epic, just a few constellations are identifiable, but the narration give angular values using the maxim of 1 day walk for 1 degree. Like other Mesopotamian myths, the epic mention the hulupu tree and also the Anzu bird. From the compilation of these myths, the archaeodoxa team unveiled the meaning of the Anzu bird as a celestial line passing by the galactic pole. The red line you see passes by 3 important stars and the 2 galactic poles with a maximum length like an equator. On our channel, you can watch a detailed video on this Anzu line. The Anzu line parallels a single meridian of the galactic grid. So the Anzu line in red closes the loop between Sirius and Altair passing by the galactic south pole. The line is also linked to the ecliptic grid. The structure is not random, but built with the intention to teach humankind. Now notice the galactic equator as a green dashed line, and see a yellow dashed line running parallel to the galactic equator from Sirius to Altair passing by Betelgeuse in Orion. Believe it or not, its angular distance is 180 degrees. View from Earth, if the Anzu circle sets perfectly on the horizon with its 3 stars, the galactic circles split the sky perfectly in 2 parts, passing by the zenith. So the galactic poles are also on the horizon. Let's see again the yellow dashed line paralleling the galactic equator linking Altair to Sirius with 180 degrees angular distance. Today, around 58 degree latitude north, you will see the Anzu line on the horizon. But with the atmospheric distortion, you might not see the 3 stars at once. Within 10 minutes, 1 star sets under the horizon while the other rises. Regardless of Regulus on the horizon, at any age you can value the Anzu line like the famous Thunderbird of the North American natives. Sirius rises almost with the setting of Altair. After the Sirius setting, Altair rises from the eastern horizon. The marking is a symmetrical X, the symbol of the Thunderbird among many native tribes. Some chiefs were signing peace treaties with the Thunderbird X as a symbol of peace and order. Notice the Anzu line in red and the galactic line in green. In this detail, the Anzu line passes by Regulus cutting the Hydra's head before reaching Sirius. For Sumerians and Babylonians, Leo's king star, Regulus, dominates the horned water snake, Hydra. Notice the stars representing the head's horns. The horned water serpent appears worldwide in many mythologies. Many American natives say that the Thunderbird destroyed this horned water serpent. In Egypt, the wild cat of the god Ra smashed and cut the head of Apep, the evil serpent. When the Anzu circling line sets on the horizon, the galactic line becomes an orthogonal meridian passing by the zenith. This celestial structure reminds the shape of a handled basket or a bucket. A ninja-handled bucket is a powerful tool to teach the many structures of the Astro Mitra with its Anzu line and the Tree of Life.